In this video, we're going to talk about Google Stadia. What is it? And probably more importantly, is it something that you should care about? Well, let's find out. So Google Stadia is a subscription-based online streaming cloud-based game service that Google is launching in November 2019. Now right now you can already join in by signing up for their newly launched Premier Edition, which is sort of replacing the older Founders Edition that's sold out in many countries already. Anyway, with the Premier Edition, which is the one that is available in EU, you're getting a white Stadia controller, a Chromecast Ultra, 3 months of Stadia Pro, which is the subscription, the full Destiny collection, whatever that means, for the price tag of $129 or euros. Now Americans can still order the Founders Edition, which include the navy blue controller, 3 months of Stadia Pro subscription, a Founders badge, whatever that is, a body pass, and a Stadia name. Anyway, the idea with Stadia is that you don't have to own a high-end PC, a laptop, or a gaming console. Heck, you don't even have to own a PC at all in order to play beautiful looking AAA games, and the idea here is that you can use whatever device you already own, and this is sort of the criteria. As long as you can run the Chrome browser, you're basically good to go. Google's high-end servers in the cloud will then do the hard work processing for you and then send you the stream either to the app or in the browser. Now before we start looking at the service itself, let's have a look at the full list of games available at launch. Gotta be honest here, I was disappointed when I saw the list. There is no exclusivities here, and so for me personally, I don't know, I might just be the 1% here, but because I already own a PC, I have a PS4 and an Xbox One, there is nothing really in this library that makes me want to jump on the buy button and order the Google Stadia right away. But there are a few significant benefits with having a service like this. But let's first have a look at the service itself. Google did an interview a while ago explicitly addressing people's concern regarding requirements and in terms of hardware needed for the service to work without having frame drops and lag basically, and according to Google, the whole Stadia experience is not more demanding than running Netflix on your device. Obviously I haven't tested this service myself, so I cannot share my thoughts on it, but I am going to order Google Stadia and I'm going to test it for you guys as soon as it launches. But yeah, again, the idea is simple. This is a way for people to play high demanding games without having to spend hundreds upon thousands of dollars. But there is something about this service that makes it very interesting for me that I haven't seen before and might just be something that you might find interesting as well. Let's say hypothetically you start playing a game on your TV, you can then bring it over to your phone and keep playing where you left off, and I don't think we've seen this before. So let's say order the Premier Edition. Let's dive a bit deeper into the stuff you're getting and the nitty-gritty specs. So you're getting the controller right, which I do think looks a bit similar to the 360 controller. Anyway, it uses 2.4 GHz radio wireless and 4.2 Bluetooth. So in order to use the controller, your device has to support either of those two. Most devices do support Bluetooth, so that shouldn't be an issue. Also, if you want to be able to use keyboard and mouse as output instead of the controller, you're gonna need some form of laptop or desktop PC as far as I'm aware. Now along with the controller comes the Chromecast Ultra, which is a small little device that connects directly to an HDMI port on your TV. You're also getting a micro USB cable because this device needs a bit more power to work and to be able to transfer the data, so to speak. The Chromecast supports up to 4K Ultra HD and HDR or high dynamic range, and to be able to handle the high resolution, it obviously supports the latest wireless 802.11ac on both 2.4 GHz and on 5 GHz wireless. Now in case your wireless connectivity is not up to par or you don't have wireless in your home, Google has thought of that too, and they have fitted the USB power supply unit with an Ethernet port, so you can use cable if you want to. The device itself comes in black and white, although if you order the Premier Edition you're getting the black one. one. The Chromecast supports pretty much every operating system out there, including Android, iOS, macOS and Windows. But to be able to enjoy this service, however, without stutter and lag, it's gonna require a pretty good internet connection. So to test this out, Google has put together a network testing tool that lets you test your home internet connection with a simple press of a button. The whole test takes about 30 seconds, and upon completion it tells you what settings you're gonna be able to stream the games at. And so, for example, to be able to stream at 720p or 1280 by 720 at 60 FPS and stereo sound, you're gonna need a 10 megabit internet connection, and 10 megabit is what Google considers the minimum requirement. Now, I left a link to the bandwidth test so you can try this out yourself. 720p is probably gonna look pretty okay on a cell phone, but on a TV, 720p is gonna look very blurry and something that I wouldn't recommend anyone. So 1080p feels like the minimum requirement in my opinion, at least if you're playing on a TV. So let's look at 1080p gaming content at 60 FPS. That would require a 20 megabit connection, and using simple math we can actually calculate the estimated data every hour. So 20 megabit equals 2.5 megabytes a second, and that equals the 150 megabytes of data each minute, and that equals about 9 gigabytes every hour. So let's say hypothetically you play for 4 hours, that equals 36 gigabytes of data, and as we can see here it escalates pretty rapidly. Now if we look at 4K for example, we're looking at almost 16 gigabytes of data per hour. Now most people are probably going to reach Google's minimum requirement here, but this isn't the most significant concern that I'm having. I know that many internet providers around the world still uses restricted data plans where you're limited of only download, let's say 100 gigabytes of data each month, and that would make Stadia a no-go for those users. Also, it sounds very cool being able to play on the go, right? But unless you're on an unlimited data plan, Google Stadia is not really gonna be worth it for you. Another concern I'm having is that none of these games you're playing, you don't really own any of them. I know there are many similar services like Game Pass from Microsoft that works as a subscription thing just like this one. I actually use and pay for Game Pass every month, but I do think it's essential to understand that this is just a service just like Netflix, where games is going to cycle in and a few games are going to cycle out each and every month. And speaking of services, yeah, something that we also need to talk about is that can you really genuinely trust Google? Google actually has a track record of shutting down things when they don't go as planned. So if we take a look at killedbygoogle.com, we can see that it wasn't that long ago that they actually killed the YouTube gaming app and stopped selling the Chromecast audio hardware, and this is something that we need to be aware of. Now, I'm not saying that the Google Stadia is dead on arrival, but it's something that we need to be aware of. My other concern is obviously the latency. Now, slightly higher latency might work for, let's say, games where things are not going super fast, but for fast-paced games it's definitely going to be an issue, and I do think that Google Stadia could turn into an internet meme pretty quickly if they don't get this right. I gotta be honest here, I fucking hate lag. I can't stand it. I know here in Sweden, for example, most game servers are based in Berlin or Paris, which usually gives us a ping or latency of about 50 to 60 milliseconds, and that's basically the time for light to travel between Paris and Stockholm. And so let's say Google decide not to put any servers in this country, yeah, we're probably gonna be fucked. There's so many variables that comes into play here. We're looking at distance between servers and clients and the quality of the connection. Also imagine all the routers and all the devices the stream has to go through before it reaches your device. Makes me sweaty just to think about. Now, I might just sound a bit negative here, but I'm super interested to try this out, and yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But that's pretty much my 2 cents on Google Stadia. Do you think that Google Stadia is the future of gaming? Please share your thoughts down in the comments below. I cannot wait to hear your take on this. But in the meantime, watch any of these 2 videos for more awesome content. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, yeah, you have an awesome day, right?